All right, it's 2:06. Let's get this party started. Start with a roll call, please. Here.
Here. Here.
Present. She's on a transport. We do not have a quorum of figures. Well, we can make
We don't
this,
have any action items.
correct, we don't have any action items, so that's cool. Then let's just do a informational tour. Let's start with, are there anybody here for public comment? Hey, Nick's here, he's on, did you catch him?
No,
Oh, that's you. Okay, never mind. I'll throw that out. Okay, nobody here for public comment? All right, we'll move on to regular agenda, code enforcement update.
Code enforcement update on the homeless situation.
Well, first, staff introduction. Introduce yourselves, please. And then give us your projects and goals.
Well, my name is Dwayne Ledford, and this is Asia Elder. We are the City of Madras Police Department's code enforcement team. And our projects. Current projects are really blight. Sightly mess, debris, yard debris, boarding, graffiti, cleanup. Trailers. Vehicles with expired registrations, not just expired registrations, they look abandoned, right, just going to draw attention. If it's a pretty well kept vehicle, the tags is expired or something, we're gonna give them a warning or not, but really cleanup is the big thing. As far as homeless projects. Homeless projects behind Weimar and Locale. That's private property, it's in the county, it's our area, our responsibility. We have made contact with all 5 people who are currently staying back there. What we're waiting on to get the area completely cleaned out is parole and probation to come back online after family emergency leadership is on leave. So once they come back, by the middle of next week, we'll get a dumpster taken out, be able to get that all cleaned up. Everybody out of there. They're all aware, nobody's fighting anything, they're all very thankful, they counting their buses that they get to stay a couple more days, but. So there won't be any problems there, we won't have to worry about police department getting involved. And then the next one is the auxiliary campsite behind the shelter. There were some people who were allowed to stay back there again because of the OD that happened under the bridge, they had family. Who were currently homeless. And they wanted to pay their respects and go through all of the funeral stuff with her and exchanging of properties and stuff like that that goes on with their tribal traditions and whatnot. So they were granted that opportunity. And Wednesday morning, we will be going up there again to get the rest of it. Should be cleaned up Wednesday after some final arrangements were made for tomorrow, transportation to get her private things taken care of, and then she can move back to where she was. Those are our current projects. I'm goals. Just accountability. Because they're our community members, and knowing where they are and what type of condition they're in is our responsibility. So that's a constant thing, and it ebbs and flows like the current, knowing where they are and how they're doing.
The people behind Weimar that we're giving them a couple extra days, where are they planning on going?
They don't,
Have a plan?
they're not willing to share with us where they're going. They did not come from the closure of any of our camps.
So they came from outside the area?
One was there prior to the closure of the camp, and she picked up another one who has been staying with her after her partner passed away. The other 3 have moved in since the closure. They're not from the city. One claims to be from Warm Springs, but we haven't commanded to prove that, so. But they're not willing to share with us where they're going. But we'll, if they continue in the situation they're in, we'll find them. It's all about helping, right? We're gonna
Right.
help the best we can and keep them in compliance.
My concern is I discovered one spot off King Drive that we talked about earlier today. About this becoming a ping pong effect going off from the county and then being pushed out of the county back in the city and going back and forth. Be nice if we can find out if we can't at least direct them some kind of services to. I know this is the long game. This isn't something we're fixing now, but the whole idea was try to identify some of the issues they're having, see if we can't direct them in that direction. And I know a lot of it has to be decisions made on their side, but
Right. That's where the catch is, right? They have to be willing to make that
that choice,
movement.
right?
Right now, it seems like. So Hilltop, not Top's trailer, or formerly Hilltop, now Hillcrest Tops, not Hilltop. On the 26th, go straight across Cherry. Over to Hilltop on the 97, you're heading towards Dallas.
Mhm.
So Hilltop, Northeast Brown Drive. They're starting to show up over there. And campers and RVs, and we have some photos and stuff. For whoever wants to know or not, but that's where there's. The ones who have camp trailers, RVs. They're starting to show up in those yards. Right under the right, you can see them straight from the highway, that's pretty visibly, it stands out.
Hmm.
So. We'll see, but it's not gonna, they can't hide, they had gotta come out with resources.
Well, thank you. Anybody have any questions? Any questions, comments from anybody? Thank you for that report. Let's see, anticipated federal policy changes impacts nonprofits. Is that Will?
Yes, I was knowing that there's been a change in how the federal government is funding different programs. I'm wondering if it's affecting some of the work at public health, some of the work at the shelter. I was hoping that Best Care was here, but I don't know if it's gonna affect them either, so. Any feedback or thoughts?
Yeah, it's affecting all of us. I'm not gonna speak for them, but I'm pretty sure they're probably affected the same way we are. Our budgets that we proposed 2 months ago, which our fiscal year ends on June 30th. And we still don't have an approved full budget, none of us. So, but they did approve gap funding. So all of us, I believe we're all in the same boat, if someone wants to correct me, that we got 1/12 of the budget that we requested, which is a great help, and it will sustain us until the end of September. And I'm guessing that everyone's in kind of the same boat, but we're thinking any week now that we'll get some clarity on all that. That the governor has signed the executive order, so it should be coming down. It's just like you said, how it's being allocated and who's deciding has changed. So it's the big waiting game now that we're all in, and we feel pretty confident, and the MAC feels pretty confident that we're going to be the shelter will be fully funded, because we got lucky. We were funded last year, and we're the only shelter in Jefferson County, so we're pretty real confident that we'll get that funding. If you don't have a shelter, then it's not as a sure thing as what I've heard. I could be totally wrong. So I would love to, hear from other people and see where they're at and everything. But as far as us, we're for sure taken care of until the end of September. But they only did that because they knew, it's going to happen for us probably in it could happen this week. That's how much that I know. You guys know as much as I do on that. But the gap funding was a huge help, and we haven't reduced anything. We're going to keep going full steam ahead with what we're doing. We're going to actually open up a men's home and a women's home and town back up, the homes that, private homes that we already have. So we're gonna push in even though it's kind of foggy out there, but we're gonna keep pushing in and trusting it's gonna happen. So,
And speaking of the shelter, are you adjusting your hours based on the weather? There was a discussion earlier today about if there's gonna be a cooling center or a cooling spot available for different people.
we've been doing it all summer.
Okay.
We're open during the heat of the day from 11 to 4,
Oh,
11
okay.
AM to 4 PM, which is the heat of the day.
Yeah,
Like today, we were open for showers from 11 to 4. We do have 2 days a week that we're not open, but if it gets to 100 degrees, then we'll make that adjustment. You know, if it gets to heater advisory or whatever, we'll make that adjustment. But right now, it's, I think last year, which I wasn't here, I don't think they were open any days. And so we switched to being open every single week, at least 3 days a week, and then adjust accordingly. For that 11 to 4. And then when it gets to November, obviously we'll switch our hours to the coldest part of the day, which is 7 to 1 PM. And it's just really, you know, it's kind of chill at the shelter right now because the weather's nice. You know, people, even if it's hot, and they're not, we don't have a lot come in on those days that we're open. Obviously you can't drink or do drugs at the shelter, so that, you know, they would, you know, a lot of them choose to do that off property. So, we still have a good crew for dinner time. We don't have a ton of people stay overnight. But that's just where we are in the season right now. Really, overall, it hasn't been a crazy hot summer yet, but here we are today, yesterday and today, it's super hot, yeah.
yeah. When you say you're not really full or busy, are you like 50% occupancy at night now, or is it different than that?
30%.
30%, yeah.
30%? Okay.
This is I'll let Daniel introduce himself. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Daniel Brookstein, I'm the new operations manager at Commander Shelter. And right now, main projects is continue education, de-escalation training, crisis prevention. Gonna be doing, I'm gonna be actually going and getting certified through CPI, through Crisis Prevention Institute, to train staff on de-escalation. And how to respond to individuals that are in a trauma state. And that hopefully will take some pressure off Paul and also educate the staff on how to approach volatile situations. And right now, the main goal is increase the case management, which might help with resources and getting people into permanent housing. That'd be the ultimate goal if they're ready for it. But the low barrier shelter, it's a challenge because they're not emotionally ready for that step. Whereas a high barrier shelter like Bethel and they have extensive case management to help people get back on their feet through their next tech program, their family church program. So yeah, right now it's education for staff and itself, and increase case management opportunities through our new case manager, Liz Hamilton.
Yeah, we'll also hired a case manager, which I don't think it was happening well enough before Daniel. So we kind of separated positions. We have operations manager and now a case manager. And she'll be in the lives of people and know where they need and work with other partners in town to get them connected. It's just a win-win for everybody.
Yeah.
And Daniel comes from experience from Upland and in Redmond. So he's a great asset to have for a team.
Oh, welcome, Daniel. So a few months ago, you were pretty full, almost like full of busting at the seams, if I recall correctly. Do you know what's causing that shift? See that big reduction in stays?
It's just the
Weather?
weather, yeah,
Yeah.
just the weather, yeah.
Okay.
Decrease of everything, you know, everything decreases like in the end of fall, you know, when it starts warming up. And in the winter, you just see a lot more injuries that never heal up. And you know, I because of that, we started doing a Cintas with replenishing our first aid kit. We never have enough. They would have been great to give us whatever we need, but just we were running out of stuff. And that costs a lot more states, to try to get better at the time. But it's really just the season of the weather. It's the numbers that we always kind of have seen. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have, the one thing that's been different about here recently is, I believe our shelter is really safe, because of the police department and us following rules, you know, and we've even had here recently, quite a few families with children stay at our shelter for multiple weeks. So I think that says a lot of how safe it is. And we're with DHS and partner with them to get those families what they need. But I think we're moving in the right direction for sure.
That's great. One thing to add as well is weather is a big issue with people feeling uncomfortable and wanting to come in and get sheltered, but also the changing of the guard and establishing more of a normalcy with rules and regulations, consistency across the board with staff has caused, I would say, a little bit of a drop with individuals that were consistent prior to truth coming on. And so that's part of it as well.
I was kind of concerned because not too long ago, there was some people there that seemed like they needed to be in like some kind of long-term care facility rather than a
Exactly.
shelter, and
You're
that
right.
was,
You're right.
that was, do you still have issue? I mean, those people still there? Do they find help somewhere else?
No, sir, we've haven't seen those this summer.
Oh,
I don't
good.
know what has happened.
I really felt bad with like, oh, you guys can't deal with that.
Yeah,
So,
and Daniel knows what you're talking about, because Daniel was a shelter worker for me, attendant before we moved him up into management, so you remember those folks that, we were taking care of and we didn't have, we were just doing it, right?
right.
And I hope everyone knows here, if someone shows up in the middle of the night, especially if PD brings them to us, we're gonna take care of them. We're gonna take care of them. And we would prefer the officer to vouch for them, like they needed a place to stay, because what's happened is, just like I said, the numbers is, we had a few kind of just people that were ruining for everybody, that were just being threatening and hostile and challenging and just not following the rules and regulations that we have. And the word has gotten out that we welcome everyone, but you are going to follow the rules. And the word's gotten out that we have security at night. I think that's been a big plus. Having security there at night. But I don't know what happens to those folks that would be discharged from the hospital or come from out of town and would be in a bad spot. I just haven't seen them. I
That's
don't know
good.
if that's just another season thing or what. But we've got to try to get more professional at the shelter. We brought in an official handbook. We're paying employees paid time off now, and doing a drug policy for employees too. So that's not very popular. So we're seeing some good positive, I would say very positive turnover. It's scary turnover because we have to hire people, that's okay. We're gonna hire the right people. So, and Daniel's been a great help with that too.
Good.
How about public health? Are you seeing some of your funding affected by all this?
The most poignant or kind of one we can point to right now is our preparedness budget has been, we're only at 70% of the budget for the state. So we're kind of trying to figure that out coming from the state. So that's the one that has officially been affected. We still hear rumors. The thing I'm very concerned about is the Medicaid funding. We do a lot of Medicaid billing, and that's kind of our safety net. We have other funding that we can use, but if we can't use that funding, our funding is very specific. It's only this money can be used for tobacco prevention and things like that. And so if our work exceeds what we get paid for, then sometimes we can use our Medicaid funding to fill some of those gaps, and shift and offload some things. So, that's the one that I'm very concerned about. And it's, you know, a little bit of a ways off, but that's the one that we're watching. But that will definitely affect our bottom line. We're very lucky the county has made some decisions in the past that have been very beneficial. So we do have money in reserves. Other counties, as you're hearing about different funding levels being cut and things like that, have had to cut positions, and we're so small and our funding is braided together so well, but we also have quite a bit of wiggle room so that we can we don't have to cut a position right away. We can kind of look and see what's coming down in the future and move things around. We're in a pretty lucky spot right now, but it's not gonna last forever.
Okay,
Any other questions? Okay. Chief,
All right, well, increased patrols, we are not doing well at that right now, just obviously due to our staffing levels. We're struggling with that with vacations and as well as some other shortages of staff. But the hope of that is to be able to bolster that in the near future. Obviously, we want to continue to support as best we can the nonprofits that are up there, but also one of our main goals is obviously working in concert and coordination with the code enforcement. So whenever they need that, we're happy to jump in and get in with that, as well as identifying any potential problem areas that they may need to be aware of, as well as referrals to shelters, as Stuart mentioned just shortly. I appreciate what you said about taking that off. That piece of the crisis intervention piece, because that is difficult, especially when some officers have not even had that training before. We do have some officers that are interested in that, and that needs to become more of a priority. But it's limited, obviously, with just what we can do in service wise for that.
Okay, fair enough. I'm gonna actually go to school to be an instructor, so I'll see
Oh,
that
perfect.
class times when they are available.
Have you spoken with Dustin? Dustin's actually going to go to the 40-hour CIT training.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No,
there's one that's law enforcement specific.
I actually have a Zoom meeting with the representative
Oh.
from CPI tomorrow.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, this is, like I said, it's law enforcement specific. It's being
Oh,
hosted by
wow.
Deschutes County next month, so.
Okay.
But that'll be good for them for in the field. That's that, you know, obviously, the approach that needs to take place. And obviously, the concern with it continues to be there with law enforcement is some agencies are excessively heavy-handed with it just because of federal ruling now being what it is. I think Grants Fast is a prime example of that. They kind of report, whereas a mediated approach would have probably been more appropriate. So,
and that's the approach we're taking.
thank you, Chief. If anybody has not met this, Chief Paul is our new interim police chief for doing pretty good stuff, so.
Yeah, we figure we'll keep her through 2027.
Has he been made aware of that?
I have been now.
He may have other plans, I don't know. Anybody else have any questions? Comments?
I have a question, if anybody's heard anything about the discussion at our state legislature level about opening campsites anywhere and making it, pushing back against the cities from closing camps and finding people for harassing somebody, say there's somebody camping on the tribal. And if you remember was to complain about it, they get $1,000 fine for harassing camper.
I know Portland became a
That's-
big deal
that's a mistake,
because those were disabled, had a hard time opening it on the sidewalk, so no, Portland had a fine over that.
I have not heard anything from the legislature or our lobbyists regarding that issue at all. We're still taking the stance that if there's beds available in the shelter, you can't camp in tent. That's our interpretation of the law.
Yes, I would wonder if it's, if it has, anybody's heard anything from the.
I think they're all just worried about money right now. Nothing else? Well, this was probably our shortest meeting and,
Follow-up question about the hours for the shelter.
okay,
So it's projected right now to be 100 degrees at 6 p.m. So should we assume the shelter's open? Is there, what kind of communication will there be if there is any from the shelter? So 6 p.m. is supposed to project about 100 degrees still. Should we just assume the shelter's open? Are you gonna communicate?
I'm sorry, I was wondering about the beep. What?
Yeah, that's okay. I was like.
I was wondering what was beeping. Oh, I'm wondering about the hours.
Yeah, so my question is for public health, if we're communicating on, you know, the public health and the preparedness side, where folks can go if they're cooling.
Yeah.
You said 11 to 4 if the temperatures are reasonable.
Yeah, right.
For temperatures above 100 and above is my understanding. So today it's projected at 6 p.m. to still be at 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Do we just assume the shelter is open?
You can not only assume, you can count on the shelter
Okay.
being open every single night at 6 p.m.
Okay.
every single day of the year.
That is a question mark that person had. All right.
What about the from 4 to 6? Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, the 4 to 6 gap is, it will only be if it's above, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, to clarify, that's my question. So is it continuously open from 4 to 6 if the temperatures are 100?
I think, you just check in with me and we'll put a,
Oh,
we'll let you guys know.
okay, great.
The first one of contact, that makes sense.
Mhm.
Yeah, and just to clarify, right now, the shelter is open from 11 to 4, Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Yeah.
Thursdays are Thursdays are laundry services. Mondays and Fridays are shower services between those, for those 5-hour blocks.
Gotcha, okay.
And we also have other sites that are open during those times as well.
Exactly.
So the burn center is open
so we,
early till 11 at night, and then also this room has been offered
Oh,
during normal business hours, Monday through Friday, 8 to 5. Be open.
I wasn't aware of that.
so
Yeah.
we had a chat this morning at coffee about how's the information getting out? How are people like, know where to go, what places are open, this kind of stuff, and I was just kind of curious if, because I know a lot of these people have cell phones, if we couldn't push out Everbridge and get people signed up on Everbridge, and then we could have somebody who's a Everbridge person send that information out, like, hey, these places are open during whatever, I mean, that sounds
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, be super easy, yeah.
And to confirm, is city okay with advertising that the space is open for cooling?
Yeah, right, it will be from 8 to 5. Just today, we have a meeting here at 5:30, but 8 to 5, the lobby's open.
Oh,
And as long as Truett keeps bringing Rice Krispie treats, we keep it
I
open.
know.
here, so.
I'm ready, I'm ready. Coca-Cola, restaurant.
we did
Um,
drop off some water to the shelter
Oh, awesome.
here, we just saw our interns pass by actually, and to burn. So a couple cases of water just to record.
If you need assistance with helping people on image, or I almost said image trend.
Bridge,
Everbridge, Nellie's helped people up at the front desk. She also has it in Spanish. So if people need it in Spanish. Actually, we got that from you guys.
They probably-
So I think the more and more people, Nellie and I went up and down town one time, just trying to get as many people as possible signed up for that, because it's not, I mean, we use it for fire emergencies or other kind of emergencies, but I mean, if we could use it for so many different things, that'd be a great way to reach out.
Yeah, everybody's a phone.
And we can target certain areas for that, so.
Mayor, question for you. Everbridge, is that an app that,
You can get on your phone, you like, they'll send you text messages or emails, or you kind of target how you want to receive that information.
Well, it's not necessarily like an app, like I have like a Fire Watch app, but it's a system that emergency managers use. It's kind of like, we used to call it reverse 911,
Yeah, kind of.
where, like if
Yeah.
the city has something that they need to alert people to, then if you're signed up for it, you can push a text.
Law enforcement would use it to say, don't go, be careful in this neighborhood because we got some crazy going on in that neighborhood, or. We used it a lot last year when the fires were hitting, getting close to the western side of the city. They're like, hey, you know, we have these spots open, whatever.
Evacuation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like, if it's over, let's say, for instance, in the month of August, we end up having a couple of weeks where it's over 100 through the week. And Truett wants to open the shelters on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. The avenue as a manager to get that information out, would I have access to that? Or would I reach out to someone in particular?
You need to get someone who has access to push that information out. And I know the sheriff's office has somebody. Does the PD have somebody?
Double check. I don't think currently we do.
About.
I'll have to check City Hall.
So when I stepped up as mayor, we were trying to get somebody here signed up for that. I wanted to be, okay. Or we can just, we'll call dispatch and say, hey, so you can call one of us and we can have dispatch they can push that out.
Being in our text, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I think Brian's schedule or somebody this year's. Okay,
If,
So-
you know, if anything, you know, if it gets to be 100, you know, the thing about the burn center, I'm glad, thank you for reminding me, Katie. But they're open from 7 AM to 11 PM every single day, so that's the great thing when me and us and Best Care work together. So there's always a place for someone to go, whether it's snowing, whether it's raining,
Right.
whether it's too hot. So, that's always something to remember, and I try to tell people that in the community too. They see someone that should know that they need to get out of the sun, send them one of our places. There's plenty of places. They just gotta know where they are, so maybe. So to get a user account for Everbridge, I guess we have to be, you said you don't have one, so you gotta request it.
it's used a lot for emergency type of stuff,
Yeah.
so, but. I think we can probably fit that in if it's extreme weather. I think we can use it in, yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having an account. That would be super easy for us, but. You know.
Yeah, it might be limited.
Yeah, I think it's because, like, we made a mistake one year that when we send it all out, you're supposed to target certain neighborhoods and people in Metolius are like, what's going on? Do we need to be worried? No, it happened way over here. It's hard to manage.
Gotcha.
So it
Okay.
is a touchy feely type. I say touchy feely, but it is a finicky system.
Yeah,
So,
I hear you.
And then we also promote Everbridge at our outreach. It's part of our public health and emergency preparedness response that's currently getting cut or potentially being cut, for something that we're worried about. So that's why you see the forms in English and Spanish. It's something that we generally translated. And just as a FYI, as far as who's all promoting this, we'll do a Facebook post. We just want to make sure that we are aligned with the city and county partners that are having cooling shelters, their hours. That's the way to find out for the community. Those hours when things can change. We'll do like a little blurb.
But for right now, non-emergency number dispatch would be able to communicate that with the correct demographic that the shelter.
well, it would be more geographic, not demographic. Yeah. So it means everybody would hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, it's 72 degrees in my house, I'm fine. So-
Yeah.
Anything else? Well, thank you, everybody. We'll
All right.
call this meeting at 2:40. Brian's not, you know, let's make her.